Hey y'all, welcome to the Soulful Vibes podcast, Episode 2. This one is on mental health, so it's a bit heavy. So yeah, sit back. So it's a quote from the movie that Denise says. She says, y'all can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said, if life was easy, we all would be doing something different, don't you think? And that stuff with me. So today's topic will be like revolving around mental health and just Black race, like in Black families and Black communities, because we're Black. So our experiences are mostly Black. So it will be centered around that. So the first topic is revolving around mental health. Black men and mental health, because in the beginning of the movie we see Morris Chestnut, Jackson character, seeing a therapist, and I don't know, when I seen that, like, you don't hear too many Black men, for me, I guess my circle, you don't hear too many Black men take mental health serious, and I think they should, because I don't know, Black men should be heard and seen and all that. So another question under that, an underarching question is, are men really allowed to cry? And cry, when I say cry, I mean like physical tears, and I mean express themselves as men in their struggles. So what do you guys think about that? Alex, do you want to go first because you're a man?
I think being a male, I think is different from women. You know, when we cry or when we even have a slight of emotion, it's kind of used as like, oh, if you cry, if you like, you're not supposed to feel nothing. As far as a Black man, you're always supposed to be strong and stuff like that, and just always, just always like the strong one. You always have to be strong, but even strong people cry, like. You know, like, whether it's out in public or behind closed doors, well, at the end of the day, we're human, and we deserve to feel the way anybody else would feel, whether we are a man or a woman. As far as mental health, I think that's very important, especially not just for males, for Black women and men. That's very important. We all have some healing that we need to do, whether it's small or big, whatever it is. It's very important that we take that time to recognize our problems and not shy away from them, but deal with them and move forward, and don't use them as a crutch, but instead use it as power to keep moving forward. You're absolutely right. There's not a lot of Black men I know who go to therapy, but there's a lot of Black men, at least in my circle, who are willing to talk about the issues and willing to help each other. At least in my, like, I don't even speak for my circle, but willing to help each other and not like shoot each other down, especially in a time of need. When there's a problem, we all like really stop what we're doing and definitely check on one another. Because if we're friends, that's what you're supposed to do.
No, yeah, and I love that. Like how you said that you and your friends, have that safe space for each other to come to each other and talk about your issues. I feel like that is so, and I think that's why I love brotherhood so freaking much, to see a group of men have like a circle they could lean on, because like I said earlier, like, I think that men in society, men don't have that safe space where they can express how they really feel, their whatever's hurting them or whatever's growing them. They, like, in society, they're not allowed to share that, like, be a man, be strong, you can't cry. And then to have that, like, a group of brothers you can like lean on, I think that's dope. I think that's needed in our Black communities. I feel like more circles should be like that. I think that's healthy. That's healthy as being Black and men. I think that's all I have to say about that for now.
I think it shows the most strength when men can be vulnerable in that way and cry and feel emotion. Because especially for Black men, this world has told them since forever that they aren't allowed to feel those emotions. So I think it shows a lot of strength and vulnerability, and I think it's attractive.
I think it's nice to see a guy cry. Just to know he's not a freaking psychopath. Like, niggas be crazy and you don't even know until one day he freaking like got the shovel and he put in the dirt over you. Like, that's when you figure it out. You gotta show me that you got feelings.
You always just take it there.
I don't know why. Right, I don't know why, but I felt that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always feel like what you say, it come off as a little far, but I always feel it. Like, it's like I have to catch up. You get me? But
I feel.
So do we feel like are men really allowed to cry?
Yes. They are, just like women. Like, I don't understand. That's an emotion. I don't get that. Oh, you a man, you're not supposed to cry. Like, I don't understand. What? So if I'm hurt, I'm not supposed to cry? Like, I don't get it. That doesn't make sense to me. That makes no sense.
It's the sad truth, but that's what society thinks. What me and you think is something totally different than what the rest of society thinks.
Yeah.
But actually, it is becoming more and more like mainstream. So,
honey, if you need to cry, cry.
You feel me?
Anywhere, any place.
I guess a question centered around that would be how do we break that stigma? Like, how do we break that stigma that men are not allowed to be emotional? They're not allowed to be. I feel like a man could still be emotional and still be very much a man. You know what I mean? So I guess my next question is, how can we break that stigma?
I think for a man, like, he got to be comfortable. If he don't feel comfortable, then it's gonna be another side of emotions than what he need to be doing. He gonna feel tense or feel like under scrutiny if he do that. It's a very toxic trait, and it's a very toxic stigma, because it's like you're a man until you're not a man. You're a man if you don't cry. You're not a man if you do. It's like, it's weird. It's like, since when was showing your emotions like selective? Like since when was it selective? When you can, as far as masculinity, when was that selective? It's just weird, For the record, man, I don't give a damn. If I feel like I need to cry, I'm gonna cry. Like, I don't give a damn about that whole stigma stuff. And that's just what it is. It's important because it's a release. Some people cry. Crying don't always mean something bad. Crying is good. Crying is a release of a toxin that you need to that all of us need to release. It can be tears of joy. You can be upset, or you could just be talking about how far you came, and that can make you cry too. Or you see a movie, and that can make you cry too. It's something very simple. Like, crying is important, man. That's something that we all need to have. Like, so who said you couldn't cry? Like, why is that bad?
To change it, I think it starts in the friend group. So, like, it starts with the guys. Like how Alex said, he has friends that, support that kind of emotion and expressing of yourself. Like, I just think niggas need to stop being so stupid and saying stupid shit like, oh, you can't cry, man. I don't know, like, it starts with the friend group. Y'all, they gotta do something different, because they're just perpetuating the bullshit.
I think it's changing on its own. The more guys that cry, the more it's acceptable.
Right.
Like, especially like celebrities, like, If Chris Brown out here crying, like, come on now. If Morris Chestnut can cry, come on now.
He crying. That was recent?
On the movies? No. Oh, gosh. Where you been?
Lord have mercy. But that's why and then what Rikia is saying, I guess that's why we having conversation about the brothers anyway, because of the representation. Because seeing that man in therapy, that was like whoa to me. I was like, wait a minute. You don't see this on TV much, like black men in therapy, black men trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong. You know what I mean? So no, I get it. Okay. I get the whole representation. Like seeing that makes it. Like Chance, you were saying that yesterday too. How representation is so important. Like when we see things, we be like, oh, okay, that's okay. I could take up space here. I can do this because it's being represented, and this is my people. You know what I mean? And again, thank you, Alex, for that. I feel like that's needed. I feel like that's very, very needed. How I feel the stigma could be broken. Like Rikia said, representation. Like, I can't stress this enough. Representation on these screens in society is important. And like seeing more men be vocal and radical about, radical about them just owning their humanity too. So, yeah. So, the next question I have here as number 2, but we'll see how it flows. What is considered toxic in Black households? Like, what is something you witnessed, or what is something that's for me? It was that don't cry mentality. Like, what you crying for? Like, what you crying for? And I'm like, my feelings are hurt. I have to cry. I'm crying because my feelings are motherfucking hurt. What you mean? What I'm crying for? I'm crying because my feelings is real life hurt. Like, but to me, that's something toxic. Like, don't cry mentality. Like, you ain't supposed to cry. This world is tough. Don't cry. So yeah, what is considered toxic to y'all? Like, y'all don't have to share anything y'all don't want to, but what is something y'all experienced, or what do you guys consider toxic in Black household that should be looked at or exposed?
Whoopings.
What you did? You went for the whoopings? Let me hear it.
Look, I think whoopings can be okay to a certain extent. I don't like it. Okay, in my household, like how you were saying, why are you crying? What you crying for? Like, if I was to get a whooping and I start crying because that shit hurts, because you're physically beating me, they're like, why are you crying? I just feel like that's like fucking with my head. Like, what are you talking about? Why am I crying? Am I not supposed to cry? Like, I don't understand. And another thing I think is toxic is like no explanation for the punishment or the whooping or whatever. It's like, can you tell me like what I did wrong, how we got to this point, so I don't do this again, or whatever the case may be. Like that whole I don't stay in a child's place, I don't need to tell you nothing. I don't agree with that.
Mine is the boy versus girl thing. In a lot of families, like, they treat the boy way better than they treat the girl. Like, even like, take my grandma. My auntie gone long time ago. But as far as my dad and my uncle, it's like they still be low-key supporting them, and I'm like, these are some like old ass men. What the fuck? Like, my dad I understand, but my uncle, I don't get it. Especially in like Hispanic households. I don't know if y'all watch One Day at a Time. It's dope. I recommend it. 10 out of 10. But yeah, like, it even like shows how women are with the male versus the female. That like shows pretty much like she's kind of inferior to him. I don't like it. I don't like it.
To second that, Rikia, I agree. I really do. Because I feel like as a child, I was scrutinized because I was a girl way more than the men were. Like the guys were like giving a pat on the back or were more free to do certain things. And me as a girl, I got called a hoe for like, I got called a hoe for doing what the boys do. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they were interested in girls, oh, he's just being a boy, man. Look at him. Oh, I'm proud of you, Tony. And me, it's like, she is bad. What's she doing liking any kind of boy? What's wrong with her? She's hot in the booty.
Yep.
No, Tony's going through teenagerhood. I am too. Why am I not allowed to like boys and he allowed to like girls and he's appraised for it?
Right. It's like, yeah, the double standards are real.
As far as the toxic household, for me,
not even toxic household. It's more so like, what do you see that's like toxic in like Black households? Like something that we need to expose to grow as a people. Like certain things that.
I think for me, the support like among family members, in my opinion, though I haven't experienced it, but just people that I've known, like how they tell you like the first people that's gonna shoot your dreams down is your family members. That is a real thing. Or they'll be the first people to talk you out of doing what you want to do. That's the real thing, and that needs to stop because that's the first people you tell. And if they don't support you, it's gonna be hard for you to think that everybody else will too outside of the world, outside of your household. So that needs to stop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that support with everything, like everything. Because growing up, what I had to let go of is the expectations of my family for me and really live on my own terms and stuff like that. And that's with everything, literally. That's really with everything. And yeah, support. That's really a big one. That's really a big one. Because other ways that I think that, and I only say this because I'm Black, and I only say this because I'm Black. Like one thing that I do see is that seeing how you will be going through something as a Black person, like as a Black individual, and then seeing how your family, like if your other family member is going through something, and then watching them talk about that other family member that you have some kind of relatability to, kind of discourages you and makes you feel inferior. Like, I don't know, that's something I noticed too.
I was gonna say gossip, it needs to fucking stop. Like, why are we sitting here talking about people and their struggles and what they're going through? I don't get it. Because if you were on the other end, you wouldn't want somebody talking about you. So instead of talking about this person, first of all, let's pray for them. Second of all, let's see how can we change their situation or whatever they're going through. Like, how can we be there for them? And that goes with support. Like, show up. Don't talk about them. I don't get it. And then yelling and just being overly aggressive. Experienced that my whole life. I don't like it. We need to be softer to each other. We need to be more loving and caring to each other.
And more ears. I feel like we need more ears. Like, I feel like this generation, I can't speak for the whole generation, but from what I've been seeing, we've been more more. We want to listen more to what makes up another human being a human being. But I feel like, and not to bash the older generation at all, because a lot of them did a wonderful job, and we learned most of our culture comes from the wonderful, from the older generation. You get me? But I feel like it was a lot of, I feel like for me, I can speak for me. It was a lot of, I'm the adult, you the child. So what I say is the only thing that matters. What you gotta say is like, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So. I think, more support. I definitely do think, definitely more support, more support, more support, just more support. Really, no, really. And I feel like that's what will help, us as a racial group advance more. I think, you know what I mean? Because we spend so much time. Not all of us spend so much time bashing each other, gossiping, and thinking we're higher than the next person, that we're not advancing together as Black people. And I feel like
not a competition. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's not a competition. Stop. Like, we can win together. Let's help each other up. I don't get it. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. Stop being jealous. It's nothing to be jealous over.
No, for real, like, I would, like, you know, like, especially with, sometimes with, I overheard something, some certain things sometimes I will overhear, well, you know, my child, you know, she in school, you feel me? I don't know what Lilybeth child is doing, but, you know, like, my child, she know better, like, she in church, and she is, ooh, praise the Lord, like, ooh, Lilybeth child, ooh, she is just wild, and I'm like, huh?
So my mama knows better.
It was what is considered toxic in Black household, either something you experienced, and if you don't want to share, something you witnessed. And then this is just a question to help us advance more as a people. It's not to bash our community, because I love my Black people, but it, you know, sometimes we gotta expose certain things to be better.
I mean, it's a bunch of stuff. It's domestic violence. Then you got the ones that don't got the mama home. Then you got the ones that don't got the daddy home. Then you got the ones who mama died. Then you got the ones who daddy died. Like, it's a lot of stuff that make people who they are. Like, who make people toxic. And then if you see toxic, sometimes you're gonna be toxic. Cause shoot, I have family members who I know are very, very toxic, and their kids could go either way. But I know one of the kids for sure is not going to be toxic because he saw so much toxicity.
And that brings me to my next question, Rikia. Thanks for saying that. I wrote here on this card, girls need fathers, men need fathers. I really don't know why I wrote it, but it just seems so important to me. So yeah, that brings me into my next topic. Like, yeah, I feel like that plays a lot of role in our toxicity. I think I said it right, in the Black community. It's a lot of girls without fathers. It's a lot of men without fathers. And yeah, I don't know what question this have. So, I mean, we can play with it. I don't want to use the word play. That sounds so, not play with it, but we can, have a conversation around that. Like, I don't know, like, I guess the question is, why do we think girls need fathers and why do we think men need fathers? Like, what have we witnessed that showed us, oh yeah, we need fathers, like, in the household. And mothers too. But, yeah, mothers too, of course. Yeah.
My bad, go ahead.
No, girl, you good. I don't know where I was going, girl, but you good.
Oh, I'm freaking good.
Okay.
I seen this post and it was like, the father is, I'm sorry, do y'all hear the, like, banging? Okay, good. Cause I don't know who is upstairs, cause they be fucking all day. But freaking. But it was like the first man that a girl learns to trust is her father. And I was like, wow, that is so true. Cause most of the hoes ain't got no daddies.
Say it again.
I'm good. But it be like that, so it's like, damn, what if it is, that is kind of, it do seem like it's linked. I mean, I'm not no scientist or nothing, I ain't run no experiment, but if it look like a dog and it freaking bark like a dog,
it might be a damn dog.
You feel me?
Yeah, I second that. I've always had a father figure in my life. But oftentimes, I don't want to disrespect my parents or my father or nothing like that, but we just being honest, I feel like my dad was like here, but not here. So like it was cool to see like my parents married and everything like that. And get that kind of example, I guess. But I don't know, I remember being a daddy's girl when I was a little girl, and then something shifted. I don't know what, when, why, how, but it's just like he didn't show me how a man should treat a woman. I don't know. It's not like he dogged my mom out or nothing like that. He didn't cheat. He didn't do anything like that, but he just didn't really show me or explain to me the kind of example or like what I should be looking for in a man. So I found myself doing that myself and making a lot of mistakes. But I mean, I don't know. I think fathers are very important and they should be present, but if you're gonna be present, be present. I've always felt like I've had a father, but at the same time he was absent. I don't know.
Chance, I just want to say thank you, because that's real. I'm not saying it's real to validate you. I'm saying it's real because it's a thing. Like people experience the same very thing. Because I feel the same exact way. Like I've had a father, but wasn't present. You know what I mean? And along the way, I had to learn how is it as me as a woman should be treated by a man. You know what I mean? And stuff like that.
I wish that, I don't know, we had like conversations like that. I don't really know how you lead that, but I don't know. I just never really had that example. Like he never was like, yeah, I knew that a man should be a provider because that's what my dad is, you know. I knew a man should respect a woman because he respects my mom. I knew, those basic things, but I don't know, like as far as what to look for in a man, how he should treat you and stuff like that. I ain't get that.
I feel that because the provider, that's all I got. I think that's all I learned. Like not to disrespect my father, even though I'm gonna, like I tell myself all the time, I'm always gonna speak my truth.
Right.
For a long time, I was guilty of speaking my truth because I was afraid that I would offend my parents. But listen, my truth is my truth, okay? Like I'm not gonna bash my father, but I feel like that's all I've learned, the provider thing. How to treat a woman? No, I had to look at the way that he did treat my mom to go, okay, that is not how I want to be treated. I am worth a lot, you feel me? So, yeah, so I think that's, I think girls, like you said, girls need fathers that are present, not just, oh, I'm a father and I'm a provider. Well, that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even for men,
Right.
for the boys, like they need fathers that are present. Like, let me see what's going on with my little girl. What's going on in her head? how she views men, how she views love. What am I doing to show her? What am I doing to show her this is how she should be treated? And if I have a son, like if I'm a man, if I have a son, what am I doing to show him this is how you treat a woman? This is
right.
It's different ways to treat how to be a man. And if the guy have a daughter, it's different ways to show her, like, you know, she's precious. Like, what am I doing? How am I treating women and talking to women to show her that the value of women, you know what I mean? And how do I value women first? She could see how valued she is.
Yeah.
So, I think the idea of being present is very, you can't just be, oh, I'm a dad, or I'm gonna just provide. No, you have to be present in all aspects of it. And
be involved in my life. And like you said, in every aspect of my life, not just parts and bits and pieces of it, you know?
Or the parts that just feel comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We need our parents. It's very important to, you know, understand your child, because this world out here is very rigorous, and we sometimes, when it's time for us to go to where we feel like we should go to our parents, we go to our friends first. As far as me and my relationship with my father, on a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's about maybe like a 6. But if it would have been an 8 or a 9, I think I'd be like further down the road as far as a man. I feel like, you know, he's a great man. He has done a lot for me, but as far as what I needed from him in my latter years, you know, like from the age of, I want to say 16 to 23, like right now, you know, if I had him in these realms of my life right now, I'd be so much further ahead. I feel like I am further ahead now, but I feel like I'll be down the line even more, closer to where I am, closer to where I want to be. He's in my life. I'm not saying he's out of my life, but when him and my mother got a divorce, it kind of felt the shift. That's when the shift came, because he was literally at everything. I used to hang with my dad all the time, but once the divorce came, it literally just stopped. It was like I the communication just kind of just fell through, and it was just like he wasn't there no more. But you know, I hear from time to time, like I don't even sometimes reach out to him, and that's bad on my part, because I'm an adult now, so I should be able to, you know, do that. I do those type of adult things and not hold anything that I couldn't control, or even he couldn't control sometimes, over his head or even over my head, because I feel like I could have did something different. I can only speak for my experience. I can't speak for a woman, because I'm not a woman, and I don't want to overstep, nothing like that, say the wrong thing. But for me, as far as a man, you know, I wish my dad was a lot more vocal in my life, and I wish my dad was, you know, he was there for me, but the times when I needed him the most, like, he didn't, like, I just felt like I just couldn't go to him, because they was going through their thing, so I had to basically figure out how to do things on my own. And I'm good. I don't hate my dad. I don't resent him. I love my dad, and I just wish, like, you know, like I said, I just wish he was, like, you know, I wish, like, even though they got a divorce and stuff, the stuff that what was the good that was going on didn't stop, because once it stopped at a bad time in my life where I really needed him, because I'm about to graduate high school, go into college. So everything I did in high school up until now, it has been on my own. So it was rocky, because I know that if I would have had him more in my life, or could call him and just talk to him about women, or just where I am in my life, I know that the mistakes that I made along the way, I wouldn't have made them. There are some very good positives with my dad. My dad he's a provider. He he is just a very hardworking man. He doesn't really talk much, but through his actions, he showed me a lot. Just how to, like, you know, just remain calm and just, like, don't be, like, just not allow things to that'll make other people, like, you know what I'm saying, like, just like feel in a way, but just like be able to navigate through that and still be okay at the end of the thing. But one thing my dad did teach me was, you know, just how to love a woman. I had to learn that on my own. I'm still learning how to do that. How to just speak my emotions, because at the time I was just like him. I couldn't really, in high school up until my age of 19, I couldn't really speak, like, as far as like my emotions, because I felt like if my dad or my parents can't help me, who gonna help me? So it's kind of like that. But other than that, man, my dad is in my life, but I just feel like it's not too late. You know, if I want him in my life, he could be in my life. But I feel like right now where I'm at, I'm cool. But I know down the line I'm gonna need him again. So, yeah.
Just wow. Just wow. That was real. And when I say that was real, I don't mean to say, to validate you, like, Alice, that was real. But like, I feel like, thank you for that, because just speaking out your truth like that, like, I take a deep breath, because it's like not a lot of men can do that. Not a lot of boys need that. You know what I mean? A lot of boys need that to be able to look at their truth or their experiences in a truthful light. You know what I mean? In a way that it can bring them to their healing. So that's why I say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're doing great as a man. You're doing great. I feel like you're doing great. How you say you have to learn certain things by yourself. That's what me and Chance was talking about the other day. I think, like, taking ownership of our lives. Like, there's different things. We look at our parents. We love our parents. You know what I mean? But we look at things we feel like they should have done or should have done to advance us, and we look at our lives like, damn, we would have been a little bit more further off if you would have just taken initiative and done this or saw me in this light and stuff like that. So what you're saying, you taking ownership of learning how to love a woman on your own and learning these things on your own. And right now you have your father in your life, like you said, and you're learning these things with him too. And it's a matter of, like, you know, taking ownership for ourselves as young adults too, which can be a little confusing. I can say for me, I can say that for me, it can be a little confusing. Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere. I really was. Yeah, just taking ownership, because in the movie when Morris Chestnut Jackson character goes, when he told his father Fred, you destroyed this family, and somehow that shit just got into me. And we see him throughout the whole movie trying to get through it by going through therapy, asking the hard questions and stuff like that. And I feel like us as the younger generation, I mean, we can't be mad at our parents forever for the things that they didn't do, because they're human. You know what I mean? They was going through their own shit. Not that's an excuse, but the reality of it is that we're all here on God's earth as humans, and they're gonna make mistakes. And we just gotta take ownership for who we are and how we operate and how we treat others and how we see ourselves and how we go about pursuing our truths, our dreams, and things like that. I don't know, that's how I look at it. Just ownership. And I feel like that's what one side of it is, okay, not even confronting or feeling how we feel. Our feelings are valid for how we feel about the people who raised us. You know what I mean? But the other part of it is we gotta take ownership. Like, okay, you did what you could as a human being to raise me. Now, I'm gonna take what you taught me, no matter how I feel about it, and I'm gonna take ownership and drive my life too. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't just up to you to just drive my life. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if anybody has to say anything about that.
Honestly, I feel like you really don't really need a dad in the house. I don't know about other girls. I'm just talking for me because I had my mom. Like, I was lit. My mom was like my mom and my dad. So, and then I didn't have my dad, but I had my dad's family. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really all that bad, honestly. Like, I was like, alright. At first, I mean, of course, every girl wants their dad, but they don't need their dad. They don't. At the end of the day, I was like, oh wow, this is great. I really didn't need that nigga. My mom did great.
So you're saying that, well, let me not try to assume what you're saying. So I don't even know how to ask this. I don't want to assume what you're saying. So you're
say it, man. Say it.
That girls, like, even as girls or boys, that we can survive without, that we can still be functional without that manly or fatherhood presence in our lives. Like, we can find our own way, in a way.
Because there's always going to be somebody that can fill the place. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
it does.
For me, it was my uncle. Probably a bad decision as far as like life, but as far as a father, he's pretty okay. Pretty okay. So, I mean, that was that. Some people is teachers, because but I always had cool female teachers. Like, I always liked the cool ass female teachers who got like an Instagram and they be on yachts with their homegirls and shit, and they possibly came from the hood. Like, I love those types. Those be the best ones. They be teaching right.
They real life do. They do.
Yeah. It's always a substitute, or just always a substitute.
It's a substitute.
So I get that. Like, God kind of gives you what you need, type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that God will provide and make up for whatever you don't have. And like Rikia said, people adapt. So, and I also think that, I mean, if the daddy was bad, like if he's not a good person, he just ain't shit, it's probably best that he's not there anyway. So
that is the mother effing truth, huh? Hey, that's how I feel about my mama, okay? Like, we talk about toxic daddies and stuff like that, but there's toxic mamas. And not to bash my mama, but she just couldn't give me what I needed. And God just took her right on in my life, and I wanted a mama so bad. But God was like, listen, you better off without this, because she can't be the mother that you need or the woman that you need to grow into the woman that you need to be, that I want for you to grow into. And that's not bashing her. That's like God saying, I'm going to take her to the side and work on her, because before she had you, honey, she wasn't trying to do no growth, no healing, and I don't want that to fuck with you. So, this is for your, it hurts you, Mermaid, but it's for your protection. It's for you to get what you need on the inside. So I get that chance, like that saying of, it's bad that you're out of my life anyway. It hurts all the time. It does. Like, cause I see other people with their mothers in their life. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, God, why can't I have my mother in my life? You know what I mean? But God knows what He's doing. Like, I don't lack anything. That's how I have to keep looking at it. I don't lack nothing. God got me. God got me. So, no, yeah, that's. I felt that. I just know I felt that. And the next question or the next topic is Brian trying to get his little brother to move in with him. I didn't really understand that, so maybe you guys picked up something I didn't.
I didn't understand it either. And when he did that, when he said, "Oh yeah, I got my brother, my mom finally agreed to let my brother move in," I said, "What the hell? Why that?"
That boy was miserable. That boy needed love in his life.
See, I understand
that boy.
I hear that. But seeing the kind of man that Bill Bellamy is, what was his name in the movie?
Brian
ass was in a movie. I just don't feel like that's a good example.
But
he gonna let his brother do whatever he wanna do, and I don't like it.
He had all good intentions in doing that. He wanted to love on his brother, and you never know. What if his brother was so good that he turned him back into a good person? Because I don't know if you've seen the interactions with the brother. The brother seemed like a pretty cool guy. He seemed nothing like Bill Bellamy. So moving in with them, sometimes you rub off. What if it's the other way?
I don't know about that. I feel like, where'd Alex go? First of all, but I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it. I hear you. Their mama got issues, so I feel like he should have maybe gone elsewhere. But I don't know if Brian was the best choice, because he ain't shit. So
I mean, Brian was, and in the end, he got it together. So I feel like that's kind of like, you can kind of see where he's going with this.
I hear that. I'm not okay. I'm gonna let Alex speak, cause I don't.
Alex, how do you feel about Bill Bellamy? Well, Brian, what was the question? Trying to get his brother to move in with him instead of being in that household with his mama.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed that Brian and his mama had an issue. The way Brian is the way he is because he never received love from his mama. So he think that he took what he learned from his household, from his mom, and how he was treated by his mom. He think that that was the stigma he had over all black women. He only had a problem with black women. Everybody else, he didn't have. Every other race, he didn't have a problem with. But he has to defend the other races too. But with him, the reason he wanted to bring his brother with him is because he didn't want his brother to endure the same things he did. He may not have been the right guy because of what he's been saying throughout the movie, but the way he was as a brother towards his little brother was great. And that was probably literally, everybody had a soft side. Every character had a soft side. That was Bill Bellamy's soft side, his love for his brother. He wanted to, at the end of the day, though he is fucking up, he didn't want his brother to end up like him. It's kind of like a do as I say, not do what I do type thing. And even towards the end of the movie, him and his mama actually all became like a good, they actually working on stuff, and she actually told him that she loved him and stuff like that. So they're working towards that. But that's what that was. He may have been a bad guy out in the street with his friends, of course. But as far as him as a brother, he was a great brother.
No, I second that, because that's what created the empathy inside of me for Bill Bellamy. in the movie, because at first I was like, yo, he is really the fuck nigga. Like, he represents the fuck nigga era. But when I seen that he was what he was brought up with his mama, he was trying to take his brother out of, I was like, okay, that's what made me have some kind of empathy for him. I was like, okay, he probably don't want his brother in the same way. And that's hard. That's woo, as Black people, we need some healing, y'all. We really, our families really need some healing. So that really make my heart like kind of like mushy in the movie towards Bill Bellamy character, because I had such like a hard, like, I was so hardcore towards his character, but seeing how he was fighting for his brother, I was like, but I get what Chance is saying too, like, okay, you trying to get me out of this situation, but are you any better? You know what I mean? Like, it would have been nice to see, you know, him growing, you know, better in order to take in his brother or whatever. But and then like Alex said at the end, when him and his mother had that reconciliation, maybe that was the start, you know? Maybe that was the realistic start of the whole thing or whatever. But no, because I didn't understand it at first. I was like, what does this have anything to do with the movie? You know what I mean? Like, how is Bill Bellamy, Brian character, gonna take care of his brother when he's one way? You know what I mean? How you gonna take his brother out of a bad situation and make it better when he's a certain way already? So.
I just saw it as like,
Chance.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I see where y'all are coming from, and I agree with y'all, but in the moment when I was watching the movie, I just saw it as like him coming from one bad situation to a different bad situation.
Yeah. Like,
maybe he's gonna receive the love that he needs from his brother, but what kind of example is his brother giving him? You know, that's where my mind was at.
No, same. I feel the same way. That's why I feel the same way. Like, what is he gonna teach his brother from what he learned? Because what is he on the road he was going wasn't like respect Black women, love on Black women. So why are you trying to take him? And what you gonna teach him? You gonna teach him the same thing you learned?
Right.
So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And I agree with everything you just said, but I will say, like, the movie ended right when he was like reconciling with his mother. So I mean, you know.
No, right. And I think, you know, right. And I think I don't know how to think because I didn't create the movie. But I feel like maybe that's how life is supposed to go. Like, even if you start off on a bad foot and you learn bad things, not even bad things, things that are not healthy, maybe there's still hope. And you can provide hope for the next generation. You know what I mean?
Right. And I like that. I think it showed, like, you don't have to be perfect. Can you hear me? You don't have to be perfect to be like progressive, to progress to greater. So, you know, we're human. We ain't got it all figured out. We're gonna make mistakes. So I guess I'll give him some grace.
And Danae, thank you for that, Chance. That's honest. Honey, that is honest. You felt how you felt. And you felt how you felt. You really did. And I appreciate that, like, really, because I felt the same way. Like you said, trying to give him some grace. That's what I'm trying to do too. You know what I mean? Trying to have some kind of hope for our Blackness, our Black community, our Blackness as a people. You know what I mean? Even if we learn the wrong things, we can turn that shit around and progress, advance, and teach the next generation. So I feel you. The next question is, honey, why are Black women not allowed to be angry? Why do they treat us like this?
I got it.
They hate us.
I got it.
Go ahead.
So, I was thinking, right? I came up with this thought. When's the last time you heard somebody be like, damn, That's a strong white female right there. The audacity on her. Whoa.